Welcome back, everyone, to the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast, episode 79, coming into you on the podcast.
Oh, 79, special guest, PaperGoy, Million Dollar Peddlers, Mr. Magazine, apparently at a Tuesday stag party. There's more to the story. We'll see if we can get PaperGoy to give us the dirt on what's going on over at the Million Dollar Peddlers. But other than that, no drama here, guys. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well, Johnny and Stewart. Johnny, we're waiting and anticipating the next book of Stewart. So
I got to tell you guys, I don't want to give anything away, but I was stuck in a little bit of traffic on the car ride home today. And for some reason, my brain was just really fixated on Stewart's next adventure. This one might get a little ridiculous. My brain was just, I was, you know how like, you get writer's block? I had whatever the opposite was. I mean, the
creative juices were just...
they were flowing.
You couldn't get to ChatGPT quick enough, could you?
I was swerving all over the road. It was not good, but I'm excited for this one. So
let me ask you this: do you have any math computations in it?
I cannot divulge any parts of this.
Can we confirm that it might take place in England, though? Is that rumor true?
Listen. You might need a passport for this adventure.
So does Stewart the raccoon run into his cousin Rocky the raccoon?
He might.
And do they find Gideon's Bible? That's
maybe old Marjorie Vulpine, is just vacationing in the Swiss Alps. I don't know. We're gonna see.
We gotta wait, Wes.
I know, and that's going to be on episode 80.
80.
Yeah. Wow, episode 80, guys. That's wow.
Next week.
It's coming
same raccoon time, same raccoon channel.
That's right. Maybe we'll introduce Raccoon Girl
to the Raccoon Mobile. Hey, it's the $500,000 peddler.
Stewart, son, we've already been going for 15 minutes, so.
Hey, 8 o'clock, I'm early, so that's all that really matters.
If you're on time, you're late.
And I've already given you guys something great for your blooper reel. So,
yeah.
Well, we do need to act surprised when you come on and Mr. Magazine's not with you at first. So,
I should be more surprised if he were here.
Well, true, but
yeah, if he does show up. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, are you guys talking about Mr. Magazine?
We've already been talking about a lot of stuff. We've talked about Dib Dit. We've already talked about whatnot. So,
all right. So it was a great show, everybody. We'll see you.
Appreciate you.
I would just like to call out Mr. Magazine. Nobody has stag parties on Tuesdays. We're gonna need some receipts on this one.
Or videos.
Well, we talked about this last episode, David. I have a theory. I heard he missed his own show. I think maybe you're the issue. He doesn't like you or something. I don't know.
I can't argue with that.
Dave, you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm PaperGoy.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast. I'm not PaperGoy.
Yeah, Paperboy.
You should send this out to all your future guests to say, look at how well we treat the guests. We mock them in the first 5 seconds of the show.
This is what we do here. I am not PaperGoy. Hey, we are glad to have you back, my friend. It's been a couple of months since we have seen you. I already had a good conversation going with you so far. I'm going to jump right into the pool, and I've got a question for you.
Oh, yes. What would this be, I wonder?
Let's roll right into whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And do you have anything that you think we should be selling there if we were selling on whatnot?
Yes.
And that would be?
You got to ask those follow-up questions.
Well, Dave, what would you suggest?
I've never seen a show go off a rail so fast. It's amazing. I guess Mr. Magazine.
We don't mind, Dave. We don't mind to go off the rails here. We don't care. It's just like, you know what, we're going to go.
Listen, we've only done this 79 times. Give us a minute.
I guess Mr.
Johnny,
Magazine
you look like a kung fu movie out there. Your mouth's like, you want to fight?
Oh no,
Fight me.
Mr. Magazine really is the glue that holds it all together. Who knew? Who knew? No, I've come to the realization that the area that I am doing the best at whatnot, and I'm willing to share this with you. I'm going to tell you why I'm willing to share this with you afterwards, are books. And the reason why is because you can get books regularly and easily, at least up by me. But the odds of any of the three of you getting the same mix of books, and I'm not talking about selling James Patterson. I'm not talking about selling that kind of stuff. You get into older books, the odds of the three of you finding more than one or two of the same books that I find, or finding the same books, each of you finding the same books, are very, very unlikely. And when you stop and you think about it, I can't even begin to fathom a guess as to how many books have been published throughout history. You've got the buyers on there that are buying to collect or buying because they like a certain subject. And just take a book, Mark Twain. How many editions of Mark Twain have there been? 500? I mean, who knows? 1,000? I don't even have the slightest idea. So you collect Mark Twain. I may find a Mark Twain up here that you've never seen before, and you just instinctively buy it because you're like, oh, I need that for my collection. So I'm turning to doing 2 to 3 book auctions a week on there because books are easy to pick up, and I've got people coming there all the time to buy stuff from me.
So yeah, kind of a follow-up to that, David. I mean, how much ephemera are you still doing?
I do the trains, and I try to do 1 show a week, probably. I'm finding just moving more things to books is just really, really working well for me.
Yeah, because I used to be very regular with ephemera, and then I started out, doing multiple shows a week 4 years ago, or whenever I first started, and then at some point trickled down to like a show every week, then a show every other week, and now I basically just do a show when I find a box that I feel is good enough to bring to Whatnot. I'm sure you've experienced this. I feel that you can't just bring plain old ephemera anymore. I mean, things that I used to sell and would get really good money for, now you're lucky if they get a bid or get $3. And I just, I think it's a combination of more sellers. I think the same stuff's been sold so many times now for 4 years that everybody has it. That's, and to me, I've found it's just not worth it to do regular shows. Now, with that being said, I did a couple of ephemera shows last week, and I think in 3 shows I did over $1,000. It's just, you gotta have the right stuff. And I just think, for lack of a better term, regular old ephemera is not cutting it anymore. So,
see, I've been thinking about that, Stewart. Here's what I think. I think you're throwing us off so your shows will be $1,000 shows. I think you're trying to stop us from selling, is what I'm thinking.
Now, you're welcome to jump in there and sell as often as you want to, Wes. But
my 3-minute show is not going to cut it.
Did you make $1,000 in that 3 minutes?
I mean, but even trains aren't a guarantee anymore. I think of having a really good show. Just it's definitely different than it used to be. And I think Johnny saw the same thing with hats. And
yeah,
I may try some books because that's something, like you said, they're easy to find. I always have books, and right now I put them in my booth usually, or list some online. But yeah, I may try. I did some a couple of years ago, but it's been a long time.
So, David, does it matter the kind of book specifically? I mean, could you rank them? What kind of books you're talking about? Because, for example, like textbooks this time of year, students are loading back up and they're trying to buy some books, used books, whatever. Are those worth it, or is it because they put out new editions of those books?
Probably wouldn't be because of the new editions. That being said, I've never tried any text. I mean, Do I sell textbooks? Yes. The 1875 Swinton's arithmetic book. I don't think too many people are still using that anymore. As far as that goes.
I would find it hard to believe if someone's like, I need a book for algebra. Let me hop on Whatnot and see if anybody's happening to be auctioning one off. You know what I mean? Like you need to buy it and just.
Right.
Yeah, I would say I'm doing well with. Well, here's the other positive thing about books is you tend to get like books together, and by that I mean you get into an estate and they liked art, and they got 50 art books, or they were a science fiction collector and they have 50 science fiction books or mystery or whatever it is, and then you can take that 50 children's books and just build an auction just to whatever you just bought at the sale that you were at.
What about high school annuals, college annuals, yearbooks?
Those I would never try on the yearbooks. I would never try those on there just because the odds of the person saying, wow, I went to that school and it just happens to be way too small. Those I would put over on eBay. Those long tail, definitely.
Mm-hmm. What about children's books of like raccoons that are resellers?
Very, very popular.
Yes, I knew it.
They have a whole section on ChatGPT dedicated to that, I hear.
Ours made the top selling list 2 weeks in a row now. Allegedly.
Hey, one more thing on Whatnot, just so it doesn't turn into, we're bashing Whatnot because we never sell anything anymore on there. I will say the marketplace on Whatnot has been something that's been a real positive for me over the past month. It's the number. So I don't know if you're keeping things in your buy it now, David.
No, I do nothing about it because it's successful. So I don't do it.
I don't want to make it sound like it's approaching like the amount of stuff I sell on eBay, but it's definitely, going 3 years with never selling anything out of the marketplace to now I'm averaging, maybe 2-3 items a week. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely picked up. So hopefully that's a trend that continues. So yeah, if you're watching, if you're on Whatnot, make sure or try out the marketplace and let us know if you have any success doing that.
How many items do you have listed over there?
Roughly 700-800.
Mm-hmm.
So, I basically cross post to there everything I list. So, so it's getting up there.
Yeah, I do a different style in that I at this point, leave out something or other that I know is, the Holy Grail that I'm going to sell elsewhere. But otherwise, I would say 90% of the things that come in the door, book-wise and ephemera-wise, things like that, do go straight to Whatnot. And if they don't sell on Whatnot, then I figure out what to do with them. And I'm having pretty good sell-through over there. And a lot of the things that don't sell there, I end up putting on Etsy, and they sell over on Etsy, or I put them over on eBay. And then in our Bolo videos, I love to point out something or other that I offered for $3 on Whatnot that didn't sell, and it sold for $24 on eBay. And I'm like, I'm trying to hand you guys money, but
yeah, I've got lots of examples of that because basically after every show, I take everything that didn't sell and just list it, and a big portion of it sells. And that's another reason I've not doing things on Whatnot as much. I do enjoy it. I enjoy the social aspect of it. But, it makes no sense to sell things for $3-4 when you can sell them for $16, $17, $18.
See, and here's where I have to disagree with you. I went on a buy yesterday that I didn't do the buy for a few reasons, but I'll be doing the buy in a couple of weeks. I've got 14 auctions worth of stuff laid out here I have to put up. It was 500 books. When am I ever going to list those 500 books anywhere but Whatnot? I have a buy tomorrow with 35 magazines, big deal. Thursday, I've got a buy of a guy that has books that he needs to get them out of his warehouse by Friday because the place is for sale. So I'm not paying a lot for those books, whatever they are. I don't even know what they are. I'm not paying a lot for them. And I just bought a couple of weeks ago 125 banker boxes of mystery books. I can't get that stuff listed fast enough anywhere else. So as long as I'm paying $1 or less, I don't care. Just moving on through whatnot. I don't care. I've had people, I got a $30 book in there. I paid $4 from you. Good for you. Cool.
Just as long as you're making enough of a margin on that volume, that's fine. But it has changed the way I've looked for ephemera. I used to buy pretty much any ephemera I saw, but if it's just, it's like the stuff I got the week before last that I sold last week. It was killer stuff, and I knew it was going to go for a lot of money. And it was a lot of letters from World War II and things like that. I can see if you were come across that many books to move them quick. I guess the only playing devil's advocate would be, would your time be better spent? Because that's the other reason I quit doing as much whatnot. It's just the amount of time. Because you're like me, I tend to catalog most things. Although the last couple of shows I didn't because I was unboxing, but the amount of time that it takes to list all that stuff, I can be doing a lot of other stuff. So I have, gotten more selective on like buying boxes of stuff. So.
Yeah, no, that is a fair point. As far as that goes, I just really do enjoy it. And I think the other aspect of it would be if I do list it elsewhere for more money, I still have to store it. And I'm running out of storage space too. So I would rather have $3 for a book and sell, 25 books today than get $15 a book and sell one book next week and one book in 3 months and one book in 7 months, because I've already got those kind of listings up.
Right. That was the thing I was going to ask you. Because I know for us, it's hard to separate our eBay brain from our live selling brain. Like that item that's, would go for 50 on eBay and you just sold it for 4. And you're like, ugh, I don't know when I would have got that 50, but are you able to keep those brains separate because of the fact that you just have constant inventory coming in and nothing's going to linger, like the one that got away, big deal. They're all coming through and going out.
Right. That, and I don't know, I'm going to give a quick shameless plug to our channel over there. Did either of the three of you see the episode that I had on with, had Auction Professor on, and we talked about mental health? I don't know if any of you saw that. I have something called aphantasia. And what that is I literally have no visual memory. If you ask me to describe any of the three of you, if I close my eyes, I can't see you. Whereas if you closed your eyes or whatever, you could bring me up and say, oh, he's wearing this kind of shirt. I don't have that kind of memory. My memory works differently. I have figured out, and one of the positives of it is people that have this, 2% of people have this, we don't tend to have PTSD because we don't replay things. We don't bring things back. We just don't. Believe it or not, I think that helps with what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
The show's done. I sold a book. I don't remember what book it was. I shipped it out. I don't know. So I don't
left and move on, right?
If that makes sense.
To that point, I don't necessarily ever get upset when I sell something for that or, dwell on it or anything. It's just now it seems on whatnot. I used to could sell enough in a show at, $3 to $8, $10 that the volume would be there. But it seems like so many things I bring up now don't even get a bid starting at $3. And that's the other reason. It's just the time doesn't become worth it, when you're not going to sell enough volume to make it worth it. And I will say for me, it also, since I have the 3 booth locations, right, a lot of that volume stuff like books, I put it in my booths and they sell really well. So, that's another reason, I don't do whatnot as much for things like that. So,
Dave, do you do magazines on whatnot?
I do nowadays as part of ephemera auctions. I tried for about 10, 12 shows to cram magazines down the whatnot people's throats, and they tended not to sell very well. They just didn't. I didn't get a good crowd. I didn't tend to sell them very well. So I said, "Oh, I guess magazines aren't going to work as a standalone." That being said, I do have an auction coming up in a couple of weeks. Mad magazines, famous monsters, things like that. And literally the reason why was because I was at a Madison Bachville antique show, and lady had a box of magazines, and she gave me a price on the whole box. And I got home and took what I wanted out, took a couple of other items out, and I said, what am I going to do with the rest of it? I'll just put it all up there. And I do know Mad magazines will sell over there.
Yeah, that show looked awesome. I did watch somebody's video on that. I mean, just the amount of stuff that was there. I mean, I just got back from the 127 yard sale, which was okay, but just for amount of stuff, it didn't look like it compared to that show.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing, I'll be doing haul videos. Next 3 Mondays, I have haul videos going up. One from Brimfield and Adirondacks, which was a new show that they're trying to, branch out. So it's not just Brimfield, it's some of the Brimfield promoters, I guess, doing it up in the Adirondacks. Paper show down in Mayville, New York, which is down in the, you know where that is, Johnny, the Chautauqua region down over there. And then also Madison Bachville, like a 28-minute haul video I'm going to have up for Madison Bachville. So do check those out. Like and subscribe.
And you're getting ready to go back on with the Consignment Chat girls, correct?
Indeed. Next Wednesday at noon. Yep. Absolutely.
And you said that they're going to go live.
Yep, they're going to do it live. That's what they're going to do. Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, you're on their Wednesday lives.
Yep.
That's cool.
Wednesday at noon. Fun. Yep, that's when they're going to have us. And Mr. Magazine said he was going to show up, and then he's
he'll show up for the ladies. Yeah, he'll show up for the ladies.
Then he set up a lunch appointment with somebody or other. We're trying to buy the collection, and I text him and I go, "You're just testing me, aren't you? You remember we have that show set up?" He goes, "Oh." He goes, "No, I wasn't testing you. I forgot." I go, "Wouldn't it be great if iPhones had something called a calendar that you could put stuff on?" I said, "I'm going to write Apple and see if they can't put that on for you." He never responded.
Did he run out of grandparents that died? Once he got to like 12, you were like, you got to think of something else.
Tell us about your background, Dave. What's going on back there?
Oh, it's just I actually have a Sony camera, and the green screen comes as part of the camera. So there's no screen or anything behind me or anything, nothing to knock over back here. It's just it comes preloaded with like 12 to 15 backgrounds. And then if I wanted to, I could go on and just put any picture on as a background as well. So it's pretty neat item over there. We used to have a green screen back there. And the running joke was on our live shows, we used to have a green screen with absolutely nothing on it. So we just had a green screen behind us, nothing on it.
I thought that was a real couch with real plants behind you.
Yeah, you wouldn't have pegged. I wouldn't have pegged you as a plant daddy. So that was interesting.
Johnny, he hasn't seen our Stewart raccoon. Can you pull it up on the computer real quick and let him take a look at it?
Yeah, let's find him.
Theoretically,
you're talking about you're talking about the iconic one.
Yeah, we're gonna let him see that one.
Oh, you want the actual iconic one?
Yeah.
Are you going to edit it out of the show though? Because we don't want to spoil it for when we have the show.
Yes. Yeah, I can edit it out, Stewart. It's not a problem. We won't let everybody see.
Right. Let me share screen real quick.
We were talking about books. It just happened. I just sold this book here as we were talking about it. It's a prayer book from 1954. It's a Catholic devotional book. So I think we've talked about it before. Just curious. Do you sell a lot of Bibles and other religious books? I'm assuming you have no problem with it.
It's funny you asked that. I'm certain you guys all saw, shameless plug, the book hoarder house that you have to see to believe. We put that video up. I got a call from a friend of mine who was who's also a dealer, and he got into a house and he says, "You got to come over. I don't care what you're doing. You need to come over here." and it was about 4 miles from my house. Well, I already had the Rogue loaded with stuff from a prior deal. So I stopped by. There had to be in the driveway 40 to 50 boxes of books in the driveway that they had already cleaned out of the house, and they were going to throw them all in the dumpster. Now, I couldn't do anything about beyond just saving what I could out of there. Walked in the house. There were bookcases in the bathroom. There were bookcases in every bedroom. The living room, dining room, the kitchen had books in it. The entire basement was filled with books. I have never seen so many books before in my life. And I ended up buying 10 to 15 boxes worth of books that day, came back another day, bought another 10 to 15, then got in touch with the guy again and said, tell you what I'll do. You're getting rid of the books. I'll carry books up from the basement for you, and I get to keep whatever I wanted. And he's like, yeah, that works for me. So I ended up doing that as well. That's a long way of saying yes. One of the books that I got there, I did like 3 or 4 whatnot shows just with books out of there. Didn't look anything up, just put them up there. And I got $204 out of a Bible from that house. So probably that was the best whatnot sale I've ever had, a $204 sale. And a couple of other old Bibles out of there went really well, $40, $50 for a Bible that, would have ended up in a landfill. So very, very happy with that, and very, very happy with the whole deal. Only thing is I wish that I had gotten into the deal sooner, and I love my buddy because he gave me the call, but I wish I had gotten the call first, not to cut him out. Well, not to cut him out, but because I would have tried to work something out with the owner, because the long story short is they bought the house at auction with contents, and the guy who bought it wasn't there. His dad was there, and he's talking to his dad. His dad goes, there are some books here.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, we'll take care of it. Just buy the house. So they bought the house at auction, and suddenly walk into those books, and they have no outlet for them at all. Don't know at all what to do with them. If I had been able to get in right away from the ground floor, because there still was power on, I would have said, look, I'll pay for internet for you. Let's just run whatnot auctions. When do you need me out of here? Let's run whatnot auctions. I'll run 8, 12-hour auctions. I don't care. Pick out this book. I bet $40,000 worth of stuff went in the landfill, unfortunately, but I couldn't do anything about it because I had nowhere to put it.
Well, I'm sure you've learned, like me, David. If you can get enough volume of I've never lost money buying volume books. I mean, it's if you can get them cheap enough, they're almost always going to sell, and they'll sell. A lot of them will sell for pretty decent money too. Like you said, as long as you're not talking about mass market, modern, James Patterson type things, but I can even sell those out of my booth. They actually do decent enough because I put like $4 on them, and they'll move really quick. So,
what about encyclopedias? What about those sets?
Oh, old ones you can move, but that's about it. Yep. Yeah. Old. No, it's the books. Like, I'll give you an example, and I have come to the realization that I am blessed where I am at. Upstate New York, anywhere up in the Northeast is great picking. It really is, at least for the old stuff. Now, if you go elsewhere in the country, you're going to be picking, but you're going to be picking completely different things. If I suddenly moved to California, I would be at a tremendous disadvantage for the first year or so until I got my legs under me to figure out what can I buy out here. Because if I go there with the East Coast mentality, I'm going to buy 1800s items. Yeah, good luck to me. Not going to last very long out there as far as that goes. But over here, I went to the local flea market, and just last Sunday, just a random Sunday in the middle of the summer, and some dealer that sets up there just decided to bring books that he had in storage, 2 for $1, 1868, 1872, 1839, books like that. And I'm grabbing everything that's in decent shape and just putting it in my bag. And the best thing was I made a pile. And then he goes, I don't know, $7. And I'm like, so not only are they 2 for $1 to start with, but then you chop the price for me because I'm buying a bunch of them. Okay. So I think I paid 33 cents each for books from the 1800s in nice shape. they're all going right to Whatnot. What do I care? I'm in over 33 cents. They're 1800s books. And people in a lot of other areas of the country can't get those books as readily as I can, because I could go into, I don't know how many estate sales there are in Rochester this weekend, 10, 12. 4 or 5 of them have some books from the 1800s in them. They just do.
Yeah.
Do you find there's certain books, 1800s maybe specifically, that are going to go for more on Whatnot? Because, I mean, a lot of people automatically think, oh, 1800s book, it's got to be worth tons of money. That's not always true. I mean, it's very condition dependent and also, subject matter. So there's some I've found that you could list on eBay, and I'm using my booth more as the example, I guess. If I do comps on eBay, this book might sell for $8, 1860 something. I can put it in my booth for 30 just because somebody kind of oh, cool, look, it's a book from the 1800s and it's only $30. And I wondered, do you kind of see that on Whatnot sometime as well with books?
What I see on Whatnot is you can sell the off-conditioned books if they have good illustrations. That's the absolute thing you can sell on there, no problem. And the real beauty of buying the off-condition books is the dealers don't put much value in them. They'll sit there, you bring it up to them, and they'll look at it and go, this cover's falling off. I'm like, yeah, I was going to say that if you didn't say that. Like, yeah, well, that was 50 cents. I guess, knowing full well that I'm bringing it over to Whatnot. And that is the other beauty of Whatnot with eBay. And I know you can do videos on eBay. I do understand that. I've never done one. But my listings on eBay are all static listings. They just are. I take a couple of pictures. But when you're sitting there and you got an audience watching, you can start paging through and like, whoa, look at this, chromolithograph on the front. Look at these illustrations. And sometimes people, wow, that is really, really nice. You get 2-3 people bidding on that. There is no chance that it would sell for, it might sell for the $15 that I got off it on Whatnot, but it's not going to sell quickly on eBay for the $15. And that's where the Whatnot, because you can showcase the item, which you can't elsewhere.
What I was going to say before the freeze, Lizzy and I talk a lot about wanting to go to like Buffalo in the summer for garage sales, just because the garage
no one ever
here.
Oh,
yeah, right. The garage sales like down here, the South is very transient, right? Like everyone moved to the South from the North and cleared their stuff up. But places like Buffalo and Rochester, you've lived there generations.
Yes.
And somebody has the previous generation's stuff. And at some point it makes it to a garage sale, an estate sale, a flea market, things like that, where we live in North Carolina, we don't even have a flea market. And I think of being a kid and going to the super flea in Cheektowaga with my dad every weekend. And it was just, days of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's amazing the stuff that's up here. You should come up this weekend. It's the Buffalo Chicken Wing Festival.
Oh.
They're holding it at the baseball stadium.
Oh, is it back at the baseball stadium?
Back at the baseball because of the new stadium. I was nice enough to build the Bills.
Yeah. They appreciate your patronage.
I'm sure they do.
What are the 2 restaurants aren't there 2 restaurants that claim to have invented the buffalo wing?
Well, the Anchor Bar is the big one that everybody knows.
And I have been to the Anchor Bar when I used to go up to Buffalo, but it seems like there was another one that laid some kind of claim to that as well. But
well, there's Duff's that kind of like goes against Anchor Bar, but Mother Teresa or whatever her name was, they give her credit for making it up.
So, Dave, you go into an estate sale.
Okay.
And you meander over and you find the books.
I thought this was a joke.
It's not a joke.
We resellers go to an estate sale.
But you meander over to the books. Okay. Mm-hmm. What is it you're trying to do to stack to get the best price from whoever's selling there? What can you do to build what you're taking or trying to get?
Well, an estate sale is different from a flea market. Flea market always 99% of the people there will make deals with you, especially on books, because a lot of people look at books as being dead weight. And I'll give you a quick example of that, and then we'll get back to your question, as I can never answer a question. I should be a politician.
I want you to see me in your brain. See me in your mind.
See nothing. I went down to Mayville to the paper show. And when I was going through the paper show, and I'd been there 3 years prior as well, the prior 3 years. So this is my 4th year there, I believe, 3rd year there. I'd been there a number of years before I knew who the dealers were. And the one dealer said, stop by and see me before you leave. I said, okay. He goes, because you're buying my books. I said, oh, okay. So I stopped by. He goes, I've got 72 books right over there. I go, okay. He goes, you're buying them. I go, all right. He goes, but that's not all you're buying. He goes, give me that book, give me that book, give me that book, that book. So I made a pile of books that he's telling me to pick out. He goes, now you're giving me $50. You're taking all those books and you can use my hand cart. I said, oh, okay. So I ended up with like 110 books for $50. I bring his hand cart back. He goes, oh, the lady here, the next booth over wants to sell you all her books too. So I ended up buying all of her books as well. So,
well, like you said, though, it's just considered really dead weight. They're just trying to.
They didn't want to carry them. Yep. She was an older lady and she didn't want to load all these. And you could tell she didn't want the books because Stewart, being a strapping young man, would have put them all in one box and, hawked it out. She probably.
Not with that knee.
She probably had. She had 12 boxes for these books. And these, boxes like this size, because she could put like 12 books in there to be able to carry it. And she didn't want to load all that back up in her car. Yeah. She wanted it all gone. At the estate sale, the most important thing I would say, and back me on this, Stewart, or else I'll never be on your show again. No, back me on this, is you have to know the estate sale dealer. You have to know who's putting it on. And up here, there are 1 or 2 that'll actually deal on the first day, believe it or not. I've gotten deals 3 hours into the sale because doing that. So as long as it's somebody that's willing to deal, what I would do is if you see enough good stuff there and they're a willing to deal person, pull the guy aside, go out of earshot of everybody else and say, I'm interested in. What can we do? And one of the reasons why is I always try to keep it quiet is because if I'm a regular and they know that I will buy from them all the time, I might get a different deal than Johnny and his weekend excursion up here to Buffalo. Well, he happens to hear that, and then he's got 2 baseball caps. Well, they're worth $2 each, and he's giving that guy a deal. How come I'm not getting a deal? So you kind of do it all kind of in private. Right. Because it's almost like Gold Club member or something like that I spend enough money with them and they know who I am. And I'm also buying books that nobody else wants type deals. But do those deals as quietly as you can off on the side so other people can't hear them. Because then other people might feel that, they have a right. And that's a tip I always give too when you're at the estate sales. Listen to somebody else because there always will be somebody trying to get a deal. And if you hear somebody trying to get a deal and the estate sale person is like, look, I can't do anything. It's the first day. According to the contract, I can't do anything. I'm not going to waste their time asking if they can do anything because I already heard the answer. So why be a schnurr? Hey, can I get a better deal? I already know the answer to it, so I'm not even going to bother. I might say, tomorrow if I come, can we do a little better on that type deal?
So in general, David, do you find that when you go to estate sales, there's not just a ton of other people looking at books?
There are the scanners, but they want different books than I want, generally speaking. Anyway.
One thing, at least here in Knoxville, the estate sales I go to, I've learned which ones. There's some that'll actually like go through and do comps on some of the books and price them up. But I've learned there's 2 or 3 estate sale companies with very few exceptions. Like they had some books from the 1600s. That they might pull those out. But I've found there's 3 estate sale companies in particular I go to who basically price every book at $2, hardback, $1 paperback. It doesn't matter what it is. And I think they've just learned when they have a high volume of books, it's kind of that, you're going to sell more just by selling them all at one price versus, and then people come back because they know they do that and they're going to find treasures. But I've learned that these 3 companies, even though they price them all at $2, I can, if I have an early appointment, because most of our companies now do appointments, or some of them still do the stand in line, or if I have a late afternoon appointment, the same books are still going to be there. There's just not that many people who seem to look at books here. And, a lot of times I even feel good leaving them to the second day when they're going to be half price or better, if you make a big bundle. So,
well, the best story I can tell about that is there are times where the estate sale company has to charge certain prices because that's the wishes of the family. That happens. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, this estate sale company, which is usually reasonable, had hardcover books at like $5 and softcover books at $2.50. And I went through and I was like, no, there's just, I think I found one book they're worth buying. I'm not paying that for these books. They're just not worth it. And I didn't even bother going back the second day. This is a company that only does sales Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday are their sale days. They actually opened up Saturday with the books reduced. Free.
Yeah, so the family got less than they would have gotten if they would have just. And I'm surprised the estate sale company just tell them we're not going to do it. But
I think that the family must have been there over their shoulder on prices that so little was sold that they worked out a deal to open it up the last day with big discounts, including free on the books. And I actually did give them some money for some books. I said, here, I got this box here of books. I'm going to give you $10. They're like, why? They're free. I go, because I can't take something for free. I said, I'm giving you $10. Here you go. And they're like, wish more people were like that. I go, hey, I don't need, I'm getting an entire big box of books. I'll give you $10 for it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you see this up in Buffalo or Rochester or any of the areas you go to estate sales. The estate sales that I really like here, they're all the ones that have figured out if you run a hybrid sale and you run your auction and then your tag sale, they've learned that you can make your money for the family from the online auction items. And then the tag sale items, they don't give them away, but they price them a lot more reasonably than some of the estate sale companies that only do tag sale. And I mean, all the companies that do that, they still leave a lot of good stuff for the tag sale. I mean, pretty much all the books, all the records, all the little knickknacks that I buy, china, those kind of things. It ends up being more high end. And a lot of times I think the online auction items go for a lot more than they probably would have tagged them for if they would have just tagged them.
See, and I cannot think of any local estate sale company that does that. No, they're just strictly.
It's gotten to be really big here. I mean, there's at least 3 or 4 who do that. And, and they started it during COVID and just kept doing it.
All right, there's a funny joke. We're going to make fun of Mr. Magazine. I screw with him every once in a while because he'll sit there and we'll be recording and all that. And it'll be just before the show starts. And I'll get some really more dopier than usual look at my face. And I'll just hold it. And I will not move. So I'll just sit there like. And then he'll be stopping thinking that everything is frozen, not realizing that the fact that he's in the picture with me and able to move means it must not be frozen.
Wes, when David said strapping earlier, I just assumed he was talking about you.
Well,
what happened? I just,
Right.
Yeah, usually strapping and me don't go together in the same sentence.
See, I got confused.
I was like, wait a minute, you got to be talking about me, Johnny. Although I guess we could, put a hurt on Stewart, hobble him a little bit.
Maybe that'll be in the next episode.
Stewart gets humbled.
By the way, David, to answer your question from earlier about how many books have been published in history.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Google had a 2010 count of unique books of 129.9 million. And then since then, the world issues about 2 to 3 million new titles per year. So as of right now, they said somewhere between 170 to 200 million is the number of books that have been published. I guess that's unique titles. And I mean, they're have been published. So 200 million, you can tell 200 million books have been published throughout history.
Yeah. So
that goes all the way back to the stone tablets, I guess. So
the odds of any of you getting the exact product mix that I do show after show after show is slim.
Well,
and I think that's one of the reasons why I think that books are a way to go, because even comic books, yeah, there are, I don't know how many ever, 100,000 comics, 200,000 comics, whatever it is, but people tend to have the same comics. You know, the same ones you always see. You go to a show, you see them all. You go wherever you see them all. Records, same thing. I mean, yes, I understand there are different pressings of and all that kind of stuff. And if you really want to get deep into the weeds, yes, you can. But I guarantee you that if I go on Whatnot tonight, not that it wouldn't sell, but there is a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. I guarantee you there's a Rumors. I guarantee you you could buy those any day that you wanted to on there. Books, I guarantee you out of the 20 books that I bought at 2 for $1 the other day, 5 of them may never have been on Whatnot. 10 of them may never have been Whatnot. You know, maybe only 5 of them have been on Whatnot. And the others, it'll be the first time they've ever come to Whatnot.
To your point, and all the books you buy, I mean, take out like Gone with the Winds and Ernest Hemingway's, but you know, books published prior to say 1940. I mean, how many times have you ever found the same book that you found before? I mean, I very rarely come across.
You find a few of them. Harold McGrath, he just came to mind for some reason. And there are a few other authors that you'll see regularly, but beyond them, yeah, absolutely not. You just look at it and go, I've never seen this book before. I've never seen this book before. I've never seen this book before. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if I've been doing it for 25 years and I've never seen it before, odds are that somebody in my audience hasn't seen it before and is going to say, hey, I like that.
So outside of Whatnot,
I guarantee you we've got the only reselling books out there. As far as cartoons created by ChatGPT.
Well, children's reselling books with the raccoon. I'm sure we have the market cornered on that.
We got it cornered for sure.
So just real quick, David, outside of Whatnot, what are the genres of books that you do the best with on eBay or the other fixed price platforms?
Well, at this point, I do well with Rochester, New York stuff because I tend to find it, and that tends to get listed in places other than Whatnot because I do have an audience for those kind of things. There are repeat buyers that know that I'm always getting Rochester stuff. So Rochester, New York stuff, upstate New York stuff, I do well over there. Beyond that, I really don't list that many books, although I did get a book this morning. Well, I didn't get it this morning, but I got it at the flea market. A guy had a box, and I said, how much? Well, he had a box of books. Go figure. And I gave him 50 cents a piece for them. They were science fiction paperbacks. And then he had a box. He goes, oh, I got a box of ephemera over here. And I looked through and I go, how much? He goes, you want it all? Yeah. He goes, oh, how's $30? I said, sounds good. In one of those 2 boxes, it might have been a box of books, I'm not sure, I found a Charles Dickens book from 1887 that I'd never seen before. A softcover book, had advertising in it. I said, this is kind of odd. I usually don't look things up. That one, I said, I'm going to look this up. I found a copy over on Abe Books, and it was being sold by a real book dealer. 6 copies found in libraries and catalogs. So this is 5 others in this one. Very rare book, and he's asking $500 on it. I said, well, not bad for 50 cents out of a guy's box on that over there. So that I put up there. I put it up at mine's not in as good a shape. I put it up at like $450 over on eBay. Sells for $250 at some point or something like that. I'm very, very happy with that because it'll pay for the entire flea market as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So, you know, stuff like that, something oddball like that, I'll put up over on eBay. But generally, you know, and that one just jumped out at me because it had the advertisements in it. And I said, this is an odd book. I've never seen one like this before from that publisher and everything.
In your shows, your audience, is it a mix of resellers and collectors, or I guess a lot of people in that genre do both? But
yeah, in the book,
what do you see mostly?
In the book area, believe it or not, it seems to be the polar opposite of the ephemera. I would say, what, Stewart, 70-30 dealers probably in the ephemera area? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the same. The problem with, well, I mean, I have seen a lot of new ephemera people, I guess, but yeah, it's a lot of people reselling or at least doing Whatnot shows. So.
Yeah. Whereas on the book side of things, I would say 20% resellers, I would guess. And out of those 20% resellers, I can think of a couple of them off the top of my head they're coming to my sales for their collection, not to resell the stuff. They're not trying to get good deals to resell. They're saying, hey, I need this book, or I like this book.
Right.
Now, will they sell it after they read it? Who knows? But they're buying it for the collectible side of it as opposed to the resell. And so it is one of those few areas I found on Whatnot, again, where you can actually deal to the end user as opposed to another dealer. Not that there's anything wrong with dealers. I have a soft spot in my heart for dealers.
Well, I guess that's probably the interesting thing about the older books, especially like the old hardcovers. Like a lot of them can also be used for decor, right? So you have like somebody who wants to do a shelf and, put old books on it, where you wouldn't see that with modern stuff either. So I feel like those items have multifaceted uses versus just collect or read,
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
David, do you or Stewart ever sell those fake books? You know what I'm talking about, that sit up in bookshelves? You ever seen those?
The ones with the safe, like you hide your money inside it.
I saw some at a estate sale 2 weekends ago, and I left them. I was going to grab them. I thought, they were really neat. They looked like old 1700 books, but they were just faux.
I may or may not have a few of them in my house being used.
Gotcha. What about you, Stewart? Do you have those? You sell them?
I mean, you see them, but there's not really any value there.
Those are actually the books Wes prefers to read. It's done.
That's my kind of genre I like to deal in. I need to pick up a few more books, guys. I haven't read.
I read 5 books this weekend.
What's this reading thing they talk about? It's great.
Now, I had a couple of questions for you guys, if I could. We just had Breeze Flippers on our show last week, and I've been on Knickknacks over on District. Now, Stewart, do you sell on there as far as live shows, or do you just do the?
No, when I first got on Knickknacks, I did a few live shows, but I was strictly doing ephemera, and there was not much of an ephemera crowd there. So no, I sell on their marketplace just like on Whatnot, but I continue to list there thinking at some point that it's going to explode, but I'll sell like one or two items every couple of weeks. But it's real easy to list on, so for whatever reason I continue to list there.
Yep, and so I just signed up for Dibdits, and I'm going to be doing comic shows over there, which I was talking with Wes a little bit beforehand about doing that as well. So I wonder if anybody had any tips for me on what to do over there, how to sell over there, how it's different from Whatnot.
Yeah, I can't. It's been so long since I've done live selling on there. I mean, the coolest thing, that the biggest difference, I think, that a feature that I don't know why Whatnot hasn't added is you can truly sell with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You can have somebody come in and co-host on Whatnot, but you're selling out of one catalog. Right. On any of the District platforms, whether it be Didbit or Knickknacks or any of the other ones, you can actually have two people selling in the same show, and they each have their own catalog. So, I mean, if you know anybody else selling comics over there who's established, that might be something you could reach out and say, hey, can you want to do a show together?
He's gonna sell with David over there, because David does a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Stewart wasn't paying attention. He zoned out.
Well, I heard you talk about having.
I thought at first you said you were going to do a comedy show.
I can try.
Start us off, David. Give us a joke.
Two men walked into a board. Wait, no. Yeah, two men walked into a board. Two men walked into a bar. The third one ducked. I think I got to work on this a little bit.
It would be interesting to do a show with Stewart on there, though, Johnny. And see how he does. Well, Wes, we can't sell that right now. I don't want to do that. I want to see how he tells me no on that.
A priest, a rabbi, and an imam walk into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, what is this? Some kind of joke?"
Yeah, I think you're going to do just fine on Dibdit.
Yeah. You're going to do great, my friend. Dave, we appreciate you joining us tonight again on the
Always.
Resell Podcast. I mean, it is such a pleasure every time we get together. It has been a couple of months, but I say we do it again soon.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sooner than later.
And we'll have you on again as well. I'll just see when Mr. Magazine is looking not to show up. And
Yeah. Make sure he has something to do.
Would you just get a cardboard cutout and stick him beside you?
now, to be fair, did we tell everybody why he's not here?
He's at a stag party on a Tuesday.
He is at the amazing Tuesday stag parties.
Yeah, amazing.
Now I do want to give a big thanks. The boys here all offered to dance for Mr. Magazine if he wanted to come watch that, and he decided no. So I don't know. Sorry, you guys tried. You guys tried to entice him. So I don't understand.
Well,
but
hopefully his stag party has a meat raffle or something that was worth being away.
No, but I definitely do appreciate being here. And anybody who doesn't know our show, if you wouldn't mind heading on over to the Million Dollar Peddlers, we think we have a fun little show over there as well. We don't go off the rails 3 minutes in most of the time, but we've done that as well. So do check it out, like and subscribe. PaperGoy over on Whatnot, soon to be over on District, selling on eBay, Etsy. Just got a thing in the email today telling me that I guess Abe Books has a new thing where you can sign up with no monthly fees. So I got to click on that and look into that as well because I'm only on 67 selling platforms. So that's 68. Yeah. I'll finally figure out what I'm doing. So got to check that out as well. But yeah, do check that out. Do check our channel out if you haven't already. We try to keep it fun over there, and I think we have a pretty entertaining show.
Dave, we did ponder on episode 78. If something happens between you and him, what happens to the name of your show? Do you go to $500,000 peddler?
Yeah. What value do you each bring individually?
I mean, what's your value there?
$1.380.
It becomes the 999,990.
No, sir, don't do math. Don't even try.
Yeah, don't do math.
David, we appreciate you, my friend.
All right, thank you much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Talking to you soon. Take care.
All right, bye.
All right, guys, here you go. I've got tonight's math question for you. Shirt number 3.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah, here we go. You ready?
18 minus a square equals 8.
I think it's sideways, right? Are those infinity symbols?
Here, let me turn it.
Yeah.
This seems to be another very easy one.
Seems to be.
I do appreciate this one being less glittery than
it's not near as shiny. You can see it. I know Stewart does, don't you, Stewart? Pittsburgh Steelers, Buffalo Bills equals how much did the Steelers win by?
Not this year, buddy.
Doesn't matter. You wait. You're going to watch and see. Well, that is all the time we have this evening on the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast. Gentlemen, episode 79, we fold up in the books.
Great episode. I always enjoy having PaperGoy on. But I'll tell you what, at this point, my mind's already gone ahead to episode 80. I cannot wait to see what's in store for the raccoon and his friends. And
stay tuned, guys.
We do have the math question. Here it is. Stewart, you want to say that out loud? Can you read that across?
18 minus square equals 8.
So you got to solve for what?
Got to solve for what goes in the square.
There you go. So whoever gets the answer right first on here, we will send this out to you. You will win the T-shirt. So shirt number 3, Johnny.
Seems like they're getting easier every episode. Next week we're going to have 2 + 2, I think.
Well, I'm setting you up. See, I'm setting you up. I kind of hurt you on the first one.
Quadratic equations coming next week.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a great one. look forward to next week for sure. That's going to be a great one. It's going to be epic. Have a great week of reselling, and we will talk soon.
Bye, guys.